When we were little kids, we all had someone that we looked up to or aspired to be. As we got older and older, we started to follow in the footsteps of that person. Every step of the way, we would ask ourselves, where was this person at this stage of life? Every accomplishment and every failure we would compare to our role model to see if we were there or not. For me, that person was one of my best friends. While he was older than me, he would always be good at everything he did or everything he wanted to do. As I would compare us silently side by side to see if I could measure up to him, I was never satisfied with where I was at. Subsequently, as a justification of this comparison, I would just presume that he was naturally gifted and just born that smart. What I failed to consider, however, was that natural talent wasn't a testament to success, but rather a good work ethic, dedication, and love for what you're doing. Although it seems like everyone is just seamlessly better at everything, I promise that is not the case. When measuring success, you're really just measuring the work you put into your activity up to a certain point in time. There is a direct relationship between work ethic and success. In other words, the more you work and the more you put into it, the better the results will be for you. As a huge basketball fan, I needed to incorporate a saying from one of the greatest players that ever played the game, Kobe Bryant. I have nothing in common with lazy people who blame others for the lack of their success. Great things come from hard work and perseverance. No excuses. In hindsight, not only did Kobe say that, but he proved it every single time he threw on his Lakers jersey and stepped onto that basketball court. Growing up with nothing, Kobe made a name for himself and a lasting impact on the history of national basketball. Just as Kobe did, many have risen from nothing in order to create a name for themselves as well. Now, while you may surmise that it was due to natural ability and that Kobe was a special case out of a million, the success he and many others faced was a pure culmination of raw work ethic and dedication. In fact, the flip side is even more true in this case. Successful people don't have a good work ethic simply because they are successful. But people with good work ethics are the ones to become successful. Natural talent is really helpful and can be super amazing, but it only lasts to a certain extent. Once you start struggling and strive to achieve something, what do you do then? The sole reliance on natural ability is a foolish error one can make because, in the end, when something you really, really desire requires work upon work upon work, will you know how to attain it? Now, why do I speak about this? Being here today, I could speak about anything, but I chose this topic specifically. Why? In order to answer that, let me give you a little background of who I am. I am the son of two successful parents, both from India, and the brother of an overachieving sister, to say the least. As for me, I was never good or excellent at anything I ever did. Whether I was interested in the topic at hand or not, to even scratch the surface, I would need to study and work. My parents would always say, keep working hard, get to the top, and then redefine what your top is. In short, the goal was to get to the top and then establish a new goal for me to achieve. Whether it was meticulous planning or a thorough execution of that, a good work ethic and dedication played an influential role in getting me to the top. Although my parents would say that time and time again, I would not believe it. That is, until I reached high school. As I started to interact with my peers, their acknowledgement of me and mine to them was the key to me understanding what my parents were finally talking about. And then it hit me. As I said, I wasn't born with any extraordinary or God given talents, but I was able to compete and work with people that were. It was then I realized that while their natural ability was able to bring them really, really far, my work ethic and dedication took me just as far as well. Even to date, I still struggle with this concept. In fact, the belief that you will never get to the same level that someone is at is a trick that our mind plays on us. Since the dawn of humans, Competition has always been a necessity in order to establish dominance or create a legacy. Competition over food, governmental authority, awards, and many other factors play a huge role in the formation of a well-established society. Furthermore, that sense of competition is ingrained into the human brain. Whether we realize it or not, that plays a role in everything that we do. As everyone knows, a competition has two outcomes: success and failure. When we try our hardest and it results in a failure, the brain's automatic response is a justification. Oh, that person studied way longer than I did. Or, oh, that person is just so much older than I am. Or, that person is just given so many extraordinary talents. The problem with those statements is this: it lacks the measure of how hard someone works. In other words, what if the reason you weren't successful was because you didn't work hard enough? Oftentimes, age, race, sex, and economic status are just some of the insignificant factors that we use to justify our failures. In reality, though, it all sums up to our work ethic. Now, am I saying that if you work really hard, you'll be the best at what you're doing? No, not at all. Well, why is that the case? Well, even though you worked super hard and gave it your best, someone else may have worked even harder. Let me repeat that statement one more time. Even though you worked super hard and gave it your best, someone else may have worked even harder. When I say that, I don't want you to think, oh, what if I'm never able to do good then? Just because you gave it your all doesn't mean you are guaranteed success, because as we all know, success is not guaranteed. In some ways, that is a really good thing. As a Scottish author and government reformer, Samuel Smiles said, "We learn wisdom from failure, much more than from success. In short, you can learn a lot more from failing repeatedly than from being successful the first time around. But with a good work ethic, dedication, and learning from your failures, you will eventually be successful at anything you want to do." So yeah, I promise you that the person you think does amazing without ever working and trying, or the person that you think is just naturally gifted, is really just someone with an amazing work ethic who doesn't want to let anybody know. While you could take my word for it, you can also see for yourself by applying this to your daily life. If you're someone who dreads doing their daily tasks or work, try adding an interesting spin that could make you work even harder than normal at it. If you're able to do that successfully, then anything you want to achieve will be yours for the taking. Thank you.